The lady that you guys see on your screen right now, her name is Caroline Glenning Goodman. She's a Chicago judge that's being exposed for sharing a racist text meme of a little black child wearing a ankle monitor, okay? Supposedly, she was trying to share this text with one of her close friends, but she wound up sending it to another judge seated on the bench, okay? And the fact that they keep regurgitating and repeating it, repeating that she was trying to send this text to one of her friends as if that makes her any less racist or any less of a bigot, right? It actually solidifies the fact that you and your friends indulge in racism, okay? And the article read that her husband was actually the one, I guess, that generated this meme, because in the text she sent, she said that this is my husband's sense of Christmas humor, okay? And so for you to even send this text to a friend, you had to have some idea that this friend shared the same racist, biased, sense of humor as you, right? And that's just the way I feel about that. Okay, so Glenning is actually a relatively newly elected judge to the bench, okay? But as of recently, she's been temporarily reassigned and referred to the state judicial board. This is again stemming from the the allegations of her being a racist bigot, okay? She's only been on the bench or held this position now for about a year, okay? And the text that she sent was actually depicting an ad for a toy ankle monitor, okay? But it included a AI generated image of a black child, and this black child is wearing this ankle monitor, and the caption read on this toy box, "My first ankle monitor," right? Very racist, very bigoted. And the fact that you're a judge doing this, okay? You are in a very powerful position. Your seat allows you to sit and judge predominantly black men and women all day with this very bigoted, racist ass mindset. It's dangerous, okay? Little black backstory on her. Prior to her actually winning this seat that she now sits in, she served as a Cook County Assistant Public Defender, okay, from the year of 1997 up until last year of 2024, okay? And there she handled murder cases. Yikes, okay? Just to think that this is what she did. And it's even more frightening, I guess, to think of the length of time in which she did this. For nearly 2 decades, she held that position, okay? And this is when she turned around and ran for the seat that she's now sitting in, okay? And won. I should also add that Goodman is a Democrat, okay? She's a Democrat. And as some form of punishment, I suppose, Chief Judge Timothy Evans has determined that it's necessary for Goodman to receive training on implicit bias, as if she's not aware maybe of the fact, I don't know, just maybe she's a racist. I don't know, maybe she's a bigot of some sort, especially when you are indulging and participating in despicable acts such as this, such as sharing racist texts, of little black children. I don't know. The judge did not, dive really deep into the specifics, but he did note, however, that he would refer the case over to the judicial board for them to determine whether further sanctions or actions were needed. And with keeping all of this talk of racism and bigotry at the forefront of your minds, I got a really short WGN news interview that I want to share with you guys. And it is about 4 black men that was wrongfully convicted of a double homicide in the year of 1992. Okay, it was 4 men altogether that was convicted, but 2 of the men is actually in the studio, or was actually in the studio, telling their story as to what happened. One of those men name is Daniel Taylor, okay? And Daniel Taylor is going to tell you how he was already physically locked up in police custody at the time of this murder. At the time this crime took place, he was already locked up in police custody, and yet and still this man found himself, along with 3 other innocent men, found themselves tried, convicted, and served over 20 years for a crime they did not commit. Okay, and I just really, you might ask yourself, like I said, how could this happen? In large part, it was due to the state's attorney. Okay, this man was very persistent that Mr. Taylor had slipped out of his jail cell without being seen, met up with his co-conspirators, his friends, committed this double homicide, right? They drove him back to the police station. He slipped back in without being seen. And these four men were the perfect suspects for this crime. They had to have did it. They had to be the ones that did it. And this is ludicrous. This is crazy, right? Well, let's hear these gentlemen's story.
A group of men wrongfully convicted in connection with double murder spent more than 20 years in prison, sued the city of Chicago and won.
They are now sharing their story in a new book, The Hazel Boys, the trials of four innocent men. And two of them join us now, Dion Patrick and Daniel Taylor. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Morning.
Thanks for having us.
For joining us. What happened here? One of you was in police custody at the time this crime, a murder of this couple in 1992 happened. How does that get missed?
Was that you, Daniel? You were actually in police custody.
Yes, I was physically in their custody, and one thing that stood out with me is the jury. You know, there was an interview did by one of the jurors, and he said the defining moment that made him feel comfortable with saying I was guilty was he believed the state's attorney when they told him I either slipped out of a police station, went and committed 2 murders, and slipped back in without being spotted, noticed, any damage done to the cell or any of that.
I can't imagine the anger, the frustration, 20 years, people not listening.
But this is exactly what happens when racism and bigotry is allowed to go unchecked and to operate within the bosoms of the law. This is exactly what happened. In closing, I'd like to say, I guess there's an even more troubling part of this story, right? Because her, the judge, and so many others like her that are racist bigots, right? And yet they sit in these very powerful positions. And so that becomes dangerous to the people in which they direct their hate and their bigotry toward, right? And so the truth of the matter is the judge will not be reprimanded, you know, to the point of actually proving a point or teaching a real valuable lesson. She won't be, because she herself, she's a valuable component to a very massive machine, right? Her and, like I said, the ones that are like her. So many of them that are like her. And so this is why I think it's very crucial, it's critical for Blacks to begin to build and establish our own institutions, right? Because if we don't, we see the system that they are putting into place, that they are preparing for us and developing and improving upon daily. This is for us and our children. We have to start to build our own. Hey everybody, I'm Unpopular, just stopping by to share my thoughts with you guys. That is, of course, with those that's interested in hearing it. And if you so happen to be one of those people that's interested, I'd like to ask you to go ahead and hit that like button. Do consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll be right back with more of my very own unpopular thoughts in 1 minute.